The salvage bay of the Crithian vessel Void Talon reeked of ozone and burnt metal. Eli Wren crouched behind a stack of corroded cargo pods, his small frame trembling as alien footsteps echoed through the chamber. At 10 years old, he was too young to be here. Too young to understand why raiders had torn him from Earth's colony outpost on Kepler 442b. But he understood one thing perfectly. He had to survive. Clutched against his chest was something impossible. The creature was no larger than a house cat, its scales shimmering between obsidian black and deep crimson. Membranous wings, still too weak for flight, folded against its serpentine body. Two golden eyes stared up at Eli with an intelligence that made his breath catch. The dragon hatchling Calith chirped softly, a sound like wind chimes made of glass. Eli had found the egg 3 cycles ago in the ship's forbidden cargo hold, nestled among artifacts the Crithians had plundered from a dozen worlds. When it hatched, something in him awakened too. A connection. A purpose. Human whelp. The guttural voice of Commander Voss, the Crithian raid leader, boomed through the bay. Surrender the specimen. It belongs to the collective. Its genetic code will fetch a fortune on the black markets of Andromeda. Eli pressed himself deeper into the shadows. The Crithians were reptilian giants, 3 meters tall with scales like armor plating and 4 eyes that could see in spectrums humans couldn't imagine. Their technology was centuries beyond Earth's. But they had made one crucial mistake. They underestimated human stubbornness. Calith squirmed in his arms, tiny claws digging into his salvaged jacket. The hatchling sensed danger. Its small chest began to glow with internal heat, and Eli felt warmth spreading through his own body where they touched. The connection between them pulsed like a heartbeat. Listen to me, Eli whispered, stroking the ridge between Calith's eyes. I know you're scared. I'm scared too. But we're going to get out of here. I promise. The dragon's eyes narrowed, and for a moment Eli could have sworn he heard a voice in his mind. Not words, but feelings, trust, bond, protection. Heavy footsteps approached his hiding spot. Eli's heart hammered. He was out of options. The salvage bay had only one exit, and it was guarded by 2 Crithian soldiers, with plasma rifles that could vaporize him before he took 3 steps. Then, Calith did something extraordinary. The hatchling threw back its head and released a sound that shouldn't have been possible from something so small. It wasn't a roar, not yet. It was a frequency, a harmonic that vibrated through the very structure of the ship. The sound wave was visible, rippling through the air like heat shimmer, and everywhere it touched, something awakened. The dead consoles along the walls flickered to life. Ancient glyphs appeared on screens that hadn't functioned in millennia. The floor beneath Eli's feet began to glow with geometric patterns that spiraled outward from where he stood, and the walls, those massive bulkheads of alien metal, started to hum with power. Commander Voss froze mid-step. Impossible, he hissed. This vessel is progenitor class. It's been dead for 10,000 years. Eli didn't understand what was happening, but he understood opportunity. As the Crithians stared in shock at the awakening systems around them, he ran. Calith clung to his shoulder now, wings spread for balance, still emitting that impossible frequency. The ship responded to them. Doors that had been sealed for eons slid open at their approach. Automated defense systems, dormant for ages, swiveled to life and targeted the Crithian soldiers. Beams of pure energy, technology so advanced it seemed like magic, lanced through the bay. Stop them, Voss roared, but his soldiers were too busy diving for cover. Eli sprinted through corridors that shifted and changed around him, the ancient vessel reconfiguring itself as if recognizing Calith's call. The dragon's roar had done more than activate systems. It had established a hierarchy, and somehow, impossibly, this human boy and dragon hatchling had just claimed dominion over a ship that predated most galactic civilizations. They burst onto the bridge, a cathedral of crystalline technology and holographic displays. At the center stood a command throne that pulsed with the same golden light that shone in Calith's eyes. Eli didn't hesitate. He climbed into the seat, and Calith perched on the armrest beside him. The moment they settled, the ship spoke. Not in words, but in pure understanding that flooded Eli's mind. The Void Talon was merely docked to this ancient vessel, a parasite attached to a sleeping giant. This ship, the Dragonforge, had been waiting. The progenitors who built it had seeded the galaxy with dragon eggs, biolocks keyed to a frequency only their kind could produce. And humanity, impossible, unexpected humanity, shared something in their genetic code that resonated with that ancient frequency. Kalith was the key. Eli was the catalyst. Together, they were what the ship had been waiting for. Initiate separation sequence, Eli said, the words coming from somewhere deeper than conscious thought. The ship understood his intent better than his language. The Drakenforge shuddered. Docking clamps that had held the Crithian vessel released with explosive force, sending the Void Talon tumbling into space. Eli watched through the viewscreen as Commander Voss and his crew scrambled to regain control of their own ship, their prize salvage suddenly turning into the most dangerous entity in the sector. Kalith chirped again, this time a sound of pure joy. The hatchling spread its wings, and holographic displays showed the dragon's biological signature interfacing with the ship's weapons systems, its navigation, its shields. They were bonded now, not just Eli and Kalith, but all three of them. Boy Dragon and Ancient Starship. Set course for Earth, Eli commanded, and felt the ship's engines, powered by exotic matter and quantum resonance, surge to life. As the Drakenforge accelerated away from Crithian space, Eli looked down at Kalith. The dragon hatchling met his gaze, and again that wordless communication passed between them. They had found each other in the darkness, a human boy who refused to give up and a dragon whose roar could wake the ancients. The galaxy had underestimated humanity before. It wouldn't make that mistake again, not when humans had dragons.